Welcome back to another episode of Coaches on Zoom Drinking Coffee. I am really excited to spend some time today with Licia Thompson. And Licia got introduced to me by a couple of guests who've already been on the podcast. And so Licia, welcome. It's great to meet you.
Thank you so much. Great to meet you as well.
Yeah, so we were talking just before we recorded. So you're in Cincinnati.
Yes.
And what's life in Cincinnati like today? And what's life like as a coach in Cincinnati?
So of course, right now it's a little different because of the COVID epidemic. However, because of technology, it really hasn't slowed down the whole mission that I'm on as far as coaching and consulting. So I've been able to step up in different ways and meet new folks in multiple parts of the country through Zoom, of course. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that mission. What is your sort of specialty area that you try to help people with?
Sure. So what's important to me, I would say right now in particular, is to work with individuals, men and women, and it is from a coaching standpoint, really focusing on clarity and helping them to build confidence. And I have created a methodology around what I really hold near and dear to my heart, which is just allowing time for, as humans, I believe we should allow time, create space in our lives to really dig deep within ourselves with a mission to grow ourselves by elevating mindset, energy, and performance, of course, and through a mind-body-soul connection. And so using core energy skills, I'm pretty passionate about the mind-body-soul connection from a physical and mental standpoint. So that's what I do. But then I have a secondary business just recently launched a month or so ago, and that is on the consulting side, because I come from a career in corporate space with regard to a return to work process for injured employees. So they're either injured or they have, it could be mental or physical limitations that need to be accommodated in the workplace under ADA guidelines to bring them back to work so that they're able to perform the essential functions of their jobs. So I am approaching that from a twofold standpoint, actually. The first part of it is to work with the employer to create an atmosphere or workflow processes that are streamlined, because I feel comfortable saying in my industry, those processes haven't always been streamlined. And so it creates just a delay sometimes in getting all the moving parts to work seamlessly. And so I built a program at Macy's in 2009 and led it for 10 years. And so I'm gaining, taking knowledge from that experience. And then I also worked in Amazon's ADA leave and disability department as well, on the side that is not occupational health. It's meaning people who have conditions, injuries, or illnesses that they bring from outside the workplace, but still need accommodations. So I've been really, really working diligently, particularly this time with everything going on and kind of slowing down in life outside of my home. So it's been actually helpful for me to be in the house and totally focused on what I'm trying to do in those aspects.
Oh, that's beautiful. Love the mind, body, soul clarity connection. And I would assume that for a worker that's been injured and away from their job and questions of what's return to work going to look like, it is that sort of mind, body, soul approach that actually is really required to help them feel the confidence to move back into the workplace once again.
Yes, I hope to be able to share some of that with employers or vendors who I've worked with in the past. I've been connecting with a lot of different people in that regard. I think that has been missed, not by everyone, but in a large percentage because of the volume of work that's involved to navigate through those processes. And the processes are required. It's how you do it that I think can be changed to streamline maybe a little bit better going forward for some employers. And so it really would be helpful to the injured worker because they're already confused, fearful. In a lot of instances, they're fearful about even their job. If they can't perform at 100%, they have these limiting beliefs about, I'm going to be fired. They're going to find out I can't work like I used to. I don't know how that's going to play out. You know, then you have the percentage who really don't want to come back.
Right.
So that's a different beast, different animal to work through. But yeah, so that's kind of important to me.
Yeah, I can tell. So is some of this your own story of going from corporate to coaching? Is there a bit of Licia thread in there?
Yes.
It typically is.
Yes.
Yeah, typically is in coaches, we find.
Yeah. I can't say that, you know, a few years prior, I wouldn't have said, oh, I'm striving to become a coach, but I realized, I would say in 2017 to early 2018, that I wanted to start navigating toward a different career path. And just really did a lot of soul searching and prayer, actually, trying to determine how best to serve people, because I'm at a point where it's important to me to give back in some way. I just feel as though I have had a very successful, good career, and I know that I was blessed. And so don't want to be all self-serving, right? So I wanted to create a way to just help others, empower people. And because I led teams for 23 years at Macy's, I obviously worked with a lot of different people over throughout those years. And so I realized that involves coaching. And so once I kind of looked at it from that standpoint, that's how I ended up looking for a program to enroll in. But it was important that program also had components teaching students like myself about core energy beliefs and about faith and how to tap into that when working with individuals who are open to that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And so tell me a little, curious to learn more about the training program you did take, because there's a lot of certification programs. I get asked a lot, about which programs are best. And I think it is very much about what you're looking for as a coach, right? And what really connects to you. So it sounds like you found something that really spoke to you.
It was not an easy journey, I would say, just because there is such a vast array, as you stated, of programs that are out there. I was in particular looking for something that spoke to me around my values. And so it was easy to eliminate a lot, right? Because some of them also, I felt they were so short that I didn't feel that I would be equipped to deal with someone's life. Like people are making life changes or want to make life changes. To me, that means I have to show up beyond 100% because it's a life that they are entrusting, opening up and being transparent with me. Then I need to be equipped to figure out how to work with that person. Because of course, as you know, coaching involves asking a lot of empowering questions. And so I wanted to be trained in that respect. And so, then I also have a friend who is a coach and who has navigated through that world for many years very successfully. So I finally reached out to her because there are so many programs. And I just was confused initially, like, I don't know which is the best. What do I need? How do I, And she kind of walked me through that and the different types of certifications that they offer. And from there, I was able to eliminate quite a few. Not that there was anything wrong with those programs, but for me and what I was looking for, I wanted a core energy. I wanted something to help people identify values. Some people already know them. Some people haven't thought about them, but I think that's a good starting place for anyone. And then live within what you say you value, because sometimes life gets in the way, we get busy. I've done it myself. And because my job required A, B, and C, of course, then I'm going to step up and do that. But then sometimes when I thought about it, it wasn't a value. It didn't serve me in any way other than financially. And as I got older, I recognized that I want them to link up, because then I just feel better about the mission that I'm on. So
yeah, that's beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah, it reminds me, I went through, at the end of 2019, I read an article or maybe heard it on a podcast, I can't remember, but somebody talking about shifting from a time management perspective to an energy management perspective. And I remember I was out for a walk, and I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about all the things that fill my week. And I started to think about them from an energy perspective. You know, do they add energy? Do they drain energy? And do I have any control? Is there any intentionality about that? And I realized that I didn't. Like, my schedule was very responsive to what other people wanted, and it was very much, it didn't have that filter of energy, right? It was,
Yeah.
you know, fitting as many things to build the business or serve people or that. And so I rebuilt my entire I have this sort of underlying template on my calendar now that is around energy. And so and I love the way you phrase it, because if I reflect on how I did it, it was values based first, or, you know, and in the way I did it was taking care of me, taking care of we, taking care of thee, and taking care of everything else.
Yeah. I think that's perfectly normal, though.
Yeah.
We do that. Yeah.
Yeah. But what I realized is actually it wasn't like, those were actually good buckets to have, sort of the me, the we being sort of the people closest to me. The thee is really, for me, the people I serve, and then all the other stuff that, you know, comes with life. But to think about those in terms of energy, that, you know, which fill the bucket, which drain the bucket, and to make sure that my calendar now has a good balance of these different kinds of activities within the day, within the month, and even within the year now. Like, as a family, we sit down and plan out the sort of the energy boosting things. And it's been interesting through COVID. I don't know if you've experienced this, but my kids have said, you know, we need something to look forward to at the end of every week, right? So a Friday,
Awesome.
or Saturday thing, right? And I loved that the way that they looked at that is they realized they had to sort of do this online schooling and manage through this, you know, time at home, but they wanted something to aspire to that was a positive energy source for them. And so it's been fun to plan those things into our week.
Yeah, so that's living with purpose and intention, right? Because you are being mindful to make sure to take some time just to think through it. And I think that's where we as humans should strive to be in that thought process more frequently, versus just kind of living like a status quo in a reacting to life as it presents itself.
Yeah.
And so I want to help people just become mindful, like you said, of that, and purposefully choosing consciously how we live our lives.
Yeah. That's cool. And so what are you seeing in the conversations you're having right now with people? Because obviously, you know, I've got a wife at home who's come from corporate tower to being at home for the last 4 or 5 weeks. And she's kind of going, I'm kind of liking parts of this, right? And this is, and so it's opening up new conversations. What are the conversations people are having with you around this?
So what I'm hearing is some people really have recognized how much they need to be physically around other people. And so being at home, even with a child, has been problematic for an extrovert, that in particular that I'm thinking of. But then the majority of the people that I've come into contact with have, once they got used to and me too, once I got used to the concept of being at home more, I am getting so much done even though I know I'm staying up later at night, which makes no sense, right? I can't even process why that is occurring. However, I feel energized. I'm exercising more. I am getting outside every day unless it's raining. Think because I'm not spending 2 hours, 2.5 hours in traffic, to and from work. So I got that time back. And now I realize how important that is. I'm cooking meals like pretty much every day, which I wasn't doing.
Yeah.
So that has been shared when I've spoken with other people. We've all been kind of laughing around that, or how did you make that? What recipe are you using? Like, we never had conversations like that because we didn't care. Like, it's easy to go to a drive-through or whatever. So I feel better because I'm doing things that I've not done in many years. And I have joined a book club. One person recommended it to me. I don't know any of these other people in the book club, and they have been in existence for 23 years. That's amazing. They were co-workers initially, but now, people have gone to different employers, but they're still together. So I welcome that because I haven't read a book that's fiction in probably, I hate to admit, maybe 10 years, maybe. It's been a long time, because of reading for work. So I didn't have the bandwidth to add on. So just little things like that has put me in touch with people. So I'm meeting new people, doing things that I'm consciously choosing to do along with these other folks who are also showing up, it's just been actually amazing. There's another one that a woman I met through someone is doing on Zoom, just creating sessions to talk with people, and she's holding an open forum, and it has now seems to solidify around how you want to show up at work. So I think that has been beautiful too, because people are calling and participating from all across the US, and it's growing for her forum, her platform. So
it's beautiful. It just strikes me that your experience in helping people return to work from injury, and the skill you have, this gift you have to help people be intentional and purposeful and mindful of their energy, that the combination of those two things for people as they look at returning to the workplace or the workforce, or potentially not, and potentially shifting gears into a new path, it's actually a perfect combination of skills and gifts that you bring to the table to help people come out of this period in a way of sort of intentional and serving maybe a greater purpose than they realized they had in them before.
Yeah, I like how you said that. And thank you. That is what I'm trying to do. So thank you. I read this a while ago, and I don't remember who the author was at all, but someone said that, at the end of our time, when you look at the year of your birth, the year of your passing, but that dash in between should be meaningful. And that we sometimes forget that we are only here for a specified amount of time, and it's what we do during that time that should be meaningful and powerful, so that we leave some type of positive legacy, right? And so that's where I want to tap into, just to help people pay attention. Don't take it for granted. I have taken it for granted. I've navigated through just haphazardly in life, trying to get things done. But I think it's important, coming out of COVID, even more so than probably ever before, is the time now to think about how we want to live. What is it that we're doing that we don't need to or just shouldn't be doing? And then how do we replace that with more deliberate choices to be a better person, mentally and physically, because I'm all about exercising too. So that's those are the types of conversations I've just been around. It's so energizing. Total strangers. I've been networking a lot and just meeting a lot of people, and I'm thankful for that, because that's empowering and energizing me, just to hear what their mission is, what they're working on, what they're leaving behind. Yeah.
Wow. That's great. Well, that sounds like a perfect place to wrap up the conversation. I think I'm excited to share this with my whole audience, because I know from the conversations I'm having, there's a lot of people having these thoughts right now, and maybe not sure how to take the first step, and not sure even,
Right.
what might be out there for them. But, you're really providing this sort of safe space for them to think about these things and consider their values, and consider the things that bring them energy and the things that drain them of energy.
Yes.
I'm glad you brought up the commute, because I live in Toronto here, and we have, I think you mentioned, 3-hour commute every day. And that's unfortunately something that's real for a lot of people out there. And boy, those 3 hours can be valuable hours if they're applied to something meaningful and purposeful in
Meaningful.
your life. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
we'll make sure that we have ways for people to connect with you in the
Okay.
notes with the show.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
yeah, is there any last message for people that are
Uh,
thinking, how could I benefit from working with Licia and the work that you've done?
so my website is is of course www.licia.thompson.com. I am based in Cincinnati, but my intent is to be international, because I am online, offering online services. Of course, we'll travel once we're able to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, I am really, it's important to me to be able to touch as many lives as I can. I am here to serve others, to help empower, and to create a safe place. Confidentiality is first and foremost, of course. And I can listen and talk and work with people about any aspect of their lives where they're wanting to make change and to show up mentally and physically different. Empowering people is important to me, and just showing or offering tools to accelerate that process, and to be as intentional as they want to be. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Andrew. I appreciate this opportunity to speak with you. We have a lot of similarities, it appears, in
It
thought
does.
process. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. No, it's been a real pleasure to meet you and to share
Thank
your
you.
story. And I have a feeling we'll connect again in the future. For
Yeah, I
no
hope so.
question.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Take care. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.